Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are taking on a truly fascinating challenge. We're going to distill one of the most complex, revered, and ancient texts in human history, the Bhagavad Gita, and pull out some highly practical, deeply relevant takeaways for your modern life. Get ready, because the insights we're about to uncover are absolutely just as powerful today as they were millennia ago. Let's jump right in. So how does an ancient battle actually relate to your Monday morning? I mean, it might seem kind of absurd at first glance, right? The Bhagavad Gita is set on the epic battlefield of Kurukshetra, right before the massive war of the Mahabharata. You've got chariots, huge armies, and this warrior prince named Arjuna, who is completely, literally paralyzed by a profound moral crisis. He just doesn't know what to do. So how exactly does a 5,000-year-old battlefield connect to your Monday morning inbox, your career shifts, or just your daily stress? Okay. Let's dive into this. Consider Arjuna's ancient dilemma. He's facing his own respected elders and friends in battle. He drops his weapons. He's completely overwhelmed with despair and confusion. He is frozen. Now, compare that to our modern dilemma. Have you ever felt totally frozen by career burnout, epical confusion at the office, or just the overwhelming, heavy stress of daily life? Arjuna's paralysis is exactly the same as our modern paralysis. The context is totally changed, sure, but the human mind? It hasn't changed a bit.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, the battlefield of life. Then, 5 actionable lessons. Focus on the process, the path of balance, mastering the mind, the power of selflessness, and finally, embracing change.
Section 1. The battlefield of life and the core philosophy. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is that before we can get to the specific lessons, we absolutely need to anchor ourselves here, karma yoga. It's the path of selfless action. It essentially means performing your duties without being attached to the results. Keep this definition locked in your mind because it is the master key to everything we're going to discuss today. Section 2. Focus on the process, prioritizing duties over results.
Chapter 2, verse 47 gives us what is arguably the most famous teaching in the entire text. It says, "You have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions." This is the ultimate, and I mean ultimate, ancient antidote to our highly anxious, hyper-competitive, results-driven world today. Think about it. Most of our modern stress comes from obsessing over outcomes, the promotion, the grade, the social media likes. Actually, scratch that. It comes from obsessing over things we literally cannot control. The text explicitly tells us to focus solely on what we can actually control: your actions, your preparation, and your mindset. By completely letting go of the worry about the outcomes, whether that's at work, in a creative project, or at home, we paradoxically find way more satisfaction in the process itself. You just do the work to the absolute best of your ability, and you mentally release the result. It's a real game changer. Section 3. The path of balance. Success through moderation.
You know, you might expect an ancient spiritual text to demand some extreme asceticism, like starving yourself in a cave somewhere. But chapter 6, verse 17 states that those who are temperate in eating and recreation, balanced in work, and regulated in sleep can mitigate all sorrows. It is surprisingly practical, incredibly physically grounded, and entirely accessible for us today.
And this brilliantly illustrates how we apply it right now. Modern moderation means mindful eating, ensuring regular rest, getting adequate sleep, and actually prioritizing family time. Operating at extremes inevitably leads to burnout and sorrow. True spiritual and personal success requires managing your physical and mental energy with rigorous daily discipline. It's all about maintaining that harmony.
Section 4. Mastering the mind. Controlling your inner world.
Chapter 6, verse 6 puts it incredibly bluntly. For those who have conquered the mind, it is their friend. For those who have failed to do so, the mind works like an enemy. We have zero control over external distractions, none at all. But we can entirely take charge of our inner world. An unmanaged mind will actively sabotage you, pulling you straight towards stress, anger, and anxiety. Let's walk step by step through exactly how that self-sabotage happens, because it's a precise psychological domino effect. Step 1. We develop an attachment to something we really want. Step 2. That leads to unfulfilled desire when we inevitably don't get it. Step 3. Unfulfilled desire breeds anger. Step 4. Anger creates delusion in the mind. And finally, step 5. Delusion destroys our reasoning. Boom. You completely fall from the right path. It is a stunningly accurate, logical breakdown of human stress and decision fatigue. The goal here,
Catch the process at step 1 by controlling your attachments.
Section 5. The Power of Selflessness. Finding True Peace.
Chapter 12, verse 12, makes a really bold statement. It says that better than meditation is the renunciation of the fruits of your actions, because peace immediately follows it. It's such a profound concept. We so often think of peace as something we achieve by retreating from the world, going to a spa or something. But this suggests that true inner peace is a direct, immediate byproduct of operating selflessly while staying deeply engaged in the real world.
So, the crucial point is how we bring this down to earth. Engaging in acts of kindness and volunteering totally enriches our lives. And it doesn't have to be some grand, sweeping gesture. Just stepping up to help a colleague with a project without expecting praise, or serving your community just for the sake of the work itself, that is modern karma yoga. It fundamentally shifts your mental state from scarcity and anxiety straight over to abundance and peace.
Section 6. Embracing change. The inevitability of transitions.
Chapter 2, verse 22 sets up this epic scale for understanding change. As a person sheds worn-out garments and wears new ones, likewise, the soul casts off its worn-out body and enters a new one. Think about the sheer magnitude of that perspective. The text is literally comparing the monumental shift of lifetimes, the absolute reality of life and death, to merely changing your clothes.
Let's see how this builds out into a continuous cycle that maps directly onto our reality. We transition from a childhood body to a youthful body to an old age body and ultimately moving to a new body. The underlying message here is simple but tough to swallow. Change is the absolute only constant in the universe. Resisting it, it's completely futile and honestly, it only creates suffering.
Bringing this massive cosmic timeline back to your daily life, the directive is super clear. Accept change with grace. View your current struggles, your aging, or those scary career transitions not as tragedies, but as absolutely necessary, inevitable opportunities for growth. When you finally stop fighting the current and learn to just let go of the past, you instantly make space for new beginnings.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer, and I want to leave you with a final provocative question. Consider your own life right now. Are you fighting your daily battles completely attached to the outcome, just constantly stressed about the future? Or are you focused on the process, doing your duty selflessly, and letting the results take care of themselves? It's a 5,000-year-old question, but honestly, answering it today might just change your life. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.